Juki got the sauce, bitch.
Trappy on the track.
What's up, guys? I'm back and we're here to talk about this little guy, specifically the Aimpoint T2 in the Scalarworks Leap 1.93 mount. But first, before we go into that, make sure you follow me on Instagram at MadMaxGuns. I'll put it somewhere around here. It gives you a little insight and behind the scenes to what I've been working on recently. The past couple weeks you would have seen some of this in action and some little trendy pictures of it. Also, make sure you subscribe, hit the little notification thing so you can see when my videos comes out. They're coming out a little slower these days. Work gets in the way. But let's get into it. So this video is going to be more directly towards the T2 and the Leap mount, but I'm just going to go a light overview of this gun again. If you haven't seen the original review on it, go back and watch that. I'll put something in the top line for it. But there is a couple things I want to talk about the gun first. So the upper is the Sons of Liberty Gunworks upper. It's a 12.5. It's got a Knox muzzle device. It is a brake and a flash hider at the same time. Works great. Bomb-proof gas block install. And everything else is just Sons of Liberty Gunworks rail. Sons of Liberty Gunworks upper. I got a Colt bolt carrier, and I'm running the BCM intermediate buffer system, and it's got a Voltor buffer. It's the same thing as a Voltor A5 kit. The lower is an LMT. I got the Geisley enhanced lower parts kit. Comes with the Maritime bolt catch, AMB selector, the enhanced little trigger guard thing here that's, I don't know, it was all the rage for a little while. Got a B5 Systems grip. I wanted to try something else, a little bit different. It's less texturing, smoother, but it still has the same vertical grip that I like. The Geisley, I believe I'm running the G2S Enhanced. It's the same thing as SSAE, slightly less QC and stuff. Not running anti-walk pins anymore because I installed the trigger correctly with the little D-ring. That was an issue for me. I'm running a SB Tactical SB A3. I actually had this break on me the other day, if you can see it there. The Lunar Concepts thingy here is holding it together just fine. It still works for me. Got a Surefire M600 dual fuel. As you can see, I stopped running the pressure pad and I just run it like this. Less thing to snag on, and realistically, if you're using this, you want it on the inside because you won't get caught on anything on the outside here, whereas your hand's on the inside already. So, let's see what else. Ferro Concept Slingster, best sling in the game, bar none. Editor Sherman Designs right up there with it, but I personally like these more. But two things. I want to talk about the upper for a second. Customer service, I hear a lot of people complain about Sons of Liberty Gunworks customer service. I had a great experience with them. Right after I made my first video, a couple range trips after, the handguard came loose to where I could rockets from side to side very easily, and that would be terrible if you had a front sight mounted on here and that's what you use, or you had a laser mounted on here and that's what you use. You would lose zero instantly. Turns out their supplier for barrel nuts gave them the wrong size, and they had a couple issues with that. I sent them the upper. I had it back within a week with the right barrel nut, and everything has been fine with that since then. Also, I've been corrected. I said that they make everything in-house. Turns out they don't. They outsource for a lot of things, but I just wanted to clear up something that they don't make everything in-house. They make some stuff in-house, and a lot of stuff that they sell is specific to them, but again, they don't make everything in-house, so I just want to make that clear. That's my bad. I got bad information, and it's kind of unclear when you read some of their stuff, but that's neither here nor there. What they do put out a good product at the end of the day. That's all that matters. So, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about what the video is actually here for. Aimpoint T2, talked about it a little in my last video. It is the gold standard for the red dot. I used to think I had an issue with red dots because I have a slight astigmatism. It turns out when you're in a small room and you look through the red dot and you're just focused on the dot, it's going to be a little splotchy. But when you take this bad boy outside and you're looking through the optic as you should be at the target, the dot will be clear. I was using EOTechs for a long time just because, to me, the T2 indoors, I wrote it off as like, oh, my eyes don't work for that. Then I started playing around with my Hollow Sun that I have, which is, for lack of a better word, a T2 ripoff at like 1/6 of the price. It is a good optic for a little beat around thing. And same battery life, which we'll get into in a second. It's just, made in La China. But when I took the 13.7 from the last video out, I realized that I was not having that problem with the splotchy dot anymore. So I got rid of the NX8. I didn't dislike the NX8. It just didn't fit the gun for its intended purpose. And the eye box was small. You could train through it. I just didn't need a 1:8 on a 12.5 inch gun. So I went to the Chad T2 and the high mount, and huge fan. There's no other two ways to put it. It is extremely light. The mount itself, it's like 1.43 ounces, and that is like over an ounce lighter than the next closest mount in its class. Supposedly, haven't tested yet, it is a quick disconnect. Quick, according to them, it's not like a little latch, but this has like a little ratchet thing here. I should say ratchet, but there's a detent in there. And then you can take it off real quick, toolless, take it off, put it back on. By all accounts, it should return back to 0. But you should always really test your 0 every time you go to the range. But that's up to you. Overall, as a package, between the optic and the mount, it is 5.43 ounces, which is pretty nuts, if you ask me. You could go look it up in the other, between optics and mounts. Most of the time it's going to be heavier than that. Now, let's talk about some of the features of the T2. The battery life. It's like 50,000 hours on a medium setting, 5 years. You could just leave it on. Me personally, I usually change batteries New Year's on all my stuff. I've only had this for a couple months now. I've only had this for a few months, so obviously I haven't changed it. I also don't leave it on all the time because this isn't like a home defense gun yet. It has these little protectors on each side of the top adjustment knob that the T1 didn't have. So you don't bump anything, but if you have it capped, I wouldn't really... It's not a deal breaker, but it is nice to have. It comes with the lens covers here. You can run them in any direction. I would run them down just because it doesn't get in the way of anything because the mount's already there. If you're up, could it mess with your situational awareness, sure. Doesn't really make that big of a deal. Most people just take them off anyway. I just haven't gotten to that yet. Now, only one of these caps has the tool for adjustment on it. The top one is just like a flathead screwdriver. It comes with the tool for the adjustments and to take the screw out the bottom and change mounts. That is a drawback to me. I'd rather be able to just take a piece of brass casing and adjust it myself right there. But you know, everyone's got to do their own thing. But overall, there's a reason that this is the gold standard. The thing's damn near indestructible. It's made out of like aircraft grade aluminum. They're supposed to be bomb proof. It gets used in all sorts of military applications and all sorts of other agencies, and I'm sure a lot of other places that we don't know about. But the one drawback to me, it's pricey. For this whole combination, I think is your best bet if you're not just going to buy the optic in the Aimpoint mount, where I would suggest getting a better mount. I broke my buddy's Aimpoint mount. That's why we ended up putting a Geisley mount on it. And I believe it was $800 for the whole package. When you buy just the optic, no mount, on most places, even with a little discount, it's like $7 and change. And then the mount, the Elite mount's a little over $100. So if you go straight to Scalarworks and buy from them, that's the best bang for your buck. So the whole purpose of the 193 mount is so you don't have to bring your head all the way down like you would with a co-witness, or here, they'd be like right here with the lower 1/3, so you can just, boom, it's like there. So you're not cranking your neck down. And then also, if you're running nods and you want to run like through and co-witness your nods with the rifle, it's much easier. And I don't know how possible it is to do that with a absolute co-witness or 1/3. But on here, it is. I haven't personally tested it, but it works. And then also, a lot of people are using stuff like the Unity mount. That I feel like you'd have to be up here, but if you're using the Unity Quick or the Unity Fast mount, it makes sense. And then on top of that, they got the Knight's Armament night vision mount that's like super high, and then you can mount a magnifier behind it. But the problem with the magnifiers, really bad eye relief. So you put on a G33, you're gonna have to be up in there. So if you run your red dot forward with the CAC mount, you're gonna have to be like up here, and it'll just be aggravating. So that's my thoughts on the T2. I think second to none when it comes to red dot sights. The Comp M5 is supposed to be like the next echelon up, and it also helps that it uses a more available battery, the AAA versus the CR 2032. When you have 5 years of battery life, does that really matter? Overseas maybe, but honestly, not really. There's a slight price difference, but that's only been out a couple years. This has been proven, so I went with this. Do I believe the hype? Yes, I do. My favorite red dot. My eyes work for it, so don't pick this up in the store and be like, oh, it's blotchy, not good for my eyes. Go to the holographic site. Anything wrong with the EOTechs? Absolutely not. Love them. But don't count this out until you take it outside and look at a target a little bit further away. So that's it for me, guys. Love it. Go buy one yourself if you're into it. Hope you liked the video. If you got any questions about anything about this rifle, any comments about it, drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to respond. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. If not, as always, eat a dick. Make sure you subscribe if you don't already. Check out some of my other videos. Also, make sure you follow on Instagram if you don't already. I'll see you next time. Adios.